Hello friends, welcome back to the channel. If you're new here, I'm Shawon, and joining me today is a special guest, and her name is Emily Dawn. She is an organic growth and lead generation strategist, helping her clients generate an overflow of leads without ads. And today she is going to share about how to grow your business on Facebook without ads in 2023. So please help me to welcome Emily Dawn to the channel, and I'm excited to dive into today's video. So Emily Dawn, if you would just tell us a little bit about you, your journey, and getting to where you are today.
Well, thank you so much for having me. I'm thrilled to be talking on this topic. It's like my favorite topic. And yeah, how I kind of came to get to this place is interesting. I actually started online as a Pilates instructor,
Oh my
funny
goodness.
enough, which transitioned to business coaching, which now has evolved to me being a lead generation strategist, and I run an all organic marketing agency. So I help my clients generate an overflow of leads without running any ads. So that's what organic marketing is in its simplest form. It means you're advertising your business without paying for advertisement through social media platforms or other search engine sources.
I love that. And you mentioned with your, okay, so first of all, Pilates instructor, I did not know that. So that is definitely a fun fact that I now have about you. And you also mentioned that with your agency, you're doing all organic marketing. So that's across the board, it's only organic, right?
Yeah, so all of my agency services at this point are organic, so we don't offer any advertisement, which kind
Mhm.
of makes ours different from a lot of other marketing agencies. A lot of other marketing agencies either primarily or heavily focus on paid advertisement or they offer both, whereas we are solely focusing on helping people without running ads.
Love that. Do you find that most of your clients are they coming to you from a place of having run ads and they're now wanting to fully go the organic route?
It's usually one of 2 scenarios. It's either they've run ads, and it hasn't worked well for them
Mhm.
because they haven't yet, like, dialed in on their organic strategy, and they're like, "Okay, my my budget is decreasing and decreasing."
Mhm.
They're putting out so much without getting that return, so they're looking for a different route to increase their visibility online without pumping more money into the ad spend.
Mhm.
Or the second scenario is they have never run ads and they would prefer to, at this point, grow their business organically because you can grow your business to, multiple 7, 8 figures without running ads. Not a lot of people talk about that, but it
Mhm.
is possible. People are out there doing it. And so it's really figuring out where you're at right now in your business, your stage of
Mhm.
business, and then figuring out, okay, does it make sense to run ads right now? Or should you focus more on your organic strategy at this point?
Really good. And for someone who is in that place of they are like relying on organic marketing, they're not wanting to go down the paid avenue, and they are having some struggles perhaps with staying consistent because, with ads, you're really focused on that short-term goal that you're wanting to meet. With organic marketing, you're in it for the long haul, essentially. You're waiting on those results. So for someone who is in that space, they're wanting to use just organic marketing, say Instagram or Facebook or LinkedIn, what are some strategies to help them with staying consistent?
That is such a good topic. And I would say one of the biggest struggles or challenges that come in people's way when they're looking to increase their visibility, they're like, first of all, where do I spend my time? And
Mhm.
then if they don't know where to spend their time, that's when the inconsistency kind of happens.
Mhm.
So I would say have, like a routine, have, a schedule or activity that you're doing each day to move
Mhm.
that needle forward. I think inconsistency and not knowing where to spend your time kind of go hand in hand because you're kind of left with a blank slate each day wondering,
Mhm.
what do I do? What do I do? And then that's when they sometimes take action, sometimes don't. But if you know what you need to do each day to increase your reach online, you know how to spend your time, and it's really simple. It's simply blocking it into your calendar and
Mhm.
taking action. So having a clear understanding of what actions you need to take and then blocking it into your calendar, making it not just a thing on your to-do list, but something that's actually scheduled is really going to support you in being able to show up consistently and see that compound of results, because
Mhm.
that's what organic marketing is about. It's like you said, it's not about instant gratification, but
Mhm.
it's about everything you do each day is like a building block. And so it all begins to stack, and that's when you get
Mhm.
momentum in your business. And that's when you get what I say, like an overflow of what you're looking for.
So true, so true. And I often think about simplifying things in order to expand. So, for someone in the space, they're organic marketing, and that's their sole, their focus, right? That's where they're focusing all of their energy. Would you recommend them starting off simple with, and what I mean by that is starting out with maybe one platform and then expanding on into something, a different platform, or adding on to that?
Absolutely. So I'm a huge fan of saying pick a primary platform, especially if you're a solopreneur,
Mhm.
because you only have your energy to expend out there. Whereas when you have a team or you're outsourcing, you are borrowing essentially other people's energy. And so
Mhm.
that's where you can show up on other platforms. But I recommend having a primary focus on one platform,
Mhm.
but diversifying your connection points to other platforms. So, what I mean by that is if you choose, for example, Facebook, my primary platform, my client's primary platform, we're primarily growing and showing up on Facebook, but we're using that platform to also get you connected on Instagram, to also get you um, those email subscribers so they're on your email list, or if you're doing SMS marketing, you have their phone number. So you're diversifying the connection points with your leads, but you're really focusing on getting those connection points from one primary source.
Mm, that's really, really good. Really good. Really good. And let's shift over into Facebook. So there have been some changes, over the last year or so, especially with iOS updates. So some interruption with the ad space on Facebook. So for someone like you, your agency who specializes in organic marketing and Facebook is your zone of genius, would you like to share something about or how that looks for someone who wants to use Facebook and not Facebook ads for their organic marketing strategy?
Yeah, so there's a few points in there, right, about the updates and Facebook updating. And this isn't a rare occasion. Like Facebook is
Mhm.
continuously, and any social media platform is like continuously evolving, features change, algorithms shift, and things like this. So, what we want to make sure of is that your organic marketing strategy is not based on features, but it's
Mhm.
based on a solid strategy. So, for example, if they're solely focusing on like reels, if you base your whole
Mhm.
organic marketing strategy on reels, and then all of a sudden, for example, Instagram just said, oh, they're going to start to prioritize more photo content now. Now, these people are like, freaking out. So, what we don't want you to do is be at the mercy of the algorithm. That's what I say. You don't want to be at the mercy of the algorithm, where if the algorithm changes or features change, then
Mhm.
business is like thrown into the ocean. We don't want that. So we want to
Mhm.
make sure you have diverse amount of lead generation streams within a platform and outside of the platform, and make sure that you have an understanding of the foundation of your organic marketing strategy that goes beyond the platform itself. So with Facebook and what we're seeing on Facebook, like you're saying, some issues with paying, running ads or something. If you don't have a diverse lead generation stream profile, then if you're solely depending on ads, what happens when your ad account gets blocked or shut down or no longer works? Then you're freaking out. So that's why it's important to diversify. That's the main takeaway is diversify and don't base your organic marketing strategy on features.
I love this, Emily. Having a diverse lead generation strategy. Absolutely. I wish I had a bell to ring that right now because that is so important. I do remember, and I'm sure you do too. I think it was a couple of years ago when Facebook, Instagram were both down. And it's like, okay, so, how am I reaching my client base, right? If you've put all of your eggs into one basket and you're only doing one thing, I think it is so important to have diversification within your lead generation strategy, as well as you also mentioned the platforms that you're using themselves. So I like Instagram. I'm on Facebook too, but you mentioned, using Instagram Reels, and now Instagram is kind of giving a little more priority to photos again. So I think it's important to, as you mentioned, to have not only that diversification within your lead generation strategy, but also to look at the platforms that you're using and to be able to be diverse in the platforms tools that they're giving us, to also use to market our businesses. Would you agree with that too?
Absolutely, you nailed it with that. Um, so yeah, both the features and like your
Mm,
lead streams, kind of two different things. But
mm,
social media marketing, we can think of that as like one kind of pillar, but think
mm.
about the other pillars that you can also build out, such as, client referrals or affiliates or things like this.
So good. So good. So let's go back over to Facebook. For someone who is looking to use Facebook as their platform that they're wanting to use, where would they start on Facebook?
I feel like that's a loaded question. But, um, I started out by looking at the 3 channels of Facebook, or that's what I call
Mm,
them. Not sure if Facebook use those terms. But it's your Facebook personal profile, your Facebook
mhm,
business page, and a Facebook group. So those are the 3 primary sources on Facebook. I recommend having all 3, and they all operate in different ways and for all
mhm,
different reasons. But a brief overview is your personal profile is where you can build a friends list, and that friends list can be full of potential clients, potential collaborators, potential referral partners. And so you really want to build out that friends list to
mhm,
be people that you want to be surrounded by. It's your online network. So think about people you would want to be in a room with. That's what I think of when I'm building out my Facebook friends list. Now, since there's been an update with the professional mode, so you can turn on professional mode with your Facebook personal
mhm,
profile, which then operates closer to a business page, but has way better organic reach. And the reason why business pages don't have very good organic reach is because Facebook wants you to pay ads, right? So the business page, why would they give you free reach when they have a feature on their platform for you to pay them to get your business out there in front of people? So I still recommend having a business page. The reason being, it's another possible visibility source.
mhm,
And also, just because you don't want to run ads now doesn't mean you don't want to in the future. And you already want that business page to have some sort of content or presence from both Facebook perspective and consumer perspective. Like
mhm,
if we think about you're on the feed and you see, let's say, a digital product that you're interested in, you click on it and you see this business page has only been up for 3 days
mhm.
and there's only 2 posts. I'm not
Yeah.
probably going to put my credit card down on that new business page because I don't have that trust in it yet. And same thing
Yes.
with Facebook. The longer you have that business page, the more trust you
Mhm,
have built with Facebook compared to a very new page. It's still testing out. Are you a bot? Or they're more
mhm,
hesitation. There's more hesitation towards that page. And then with your group, that's like what I call the powerhouse of Facebook, is where you can build a community. And so it's essentially a container of niche buyers when done right.
mhm.
So every day that you're showing up for your business, you know that you're speaking to and you're in front of your potential clients right there. And it's also a great lead generation source to grow your email list and those other platforms.
Really good. So, for someone who's starting out, or maybe you're in the middle, what are some good action steps that you could take today to start building your presence on Facebook and doing that organically?
Sure. So, yeah, setting up those 3 channels would be that
Mhm.
first step and
Mhm.
optimizing them. So, the optimization is gonna be a bit different, but overall, you wanna think about, like, your bio, for your
Mhm.
personal profile and your business page. So, just like Instagram, what is your bio gonna say? It should say, in short, the transformation you provide. Then you have your banner. You have your banner on your business page, your personal profile and group. So, you wanna make sure that's a reflection of the transformation you provide again. And with your group, there's 3 factors of optimization that determine whether somebody's going to enter the group or not. And that is your group description, your group banner, and your group name. So you want to make sure those all are in alignment with what the purpose of your group is, and that all 3 of those things are reflecting it. Because if your group is private, which I recommend you making it private, still visible, but it's
Mhm.
private so people can't see the content within it unless they're a part of it. If I search up your group and I find your group and I click on it, those are the 3 things I'm able to see to make a judgment of whether or not I'm gonna request into the group or not.
Mhm.
So, action steps you can take is set up those 3 channels, optimize them, and start connecting. And so you might be like, "How do I connect?" Well, it's, engaging in other people's Facebook groups or,
Mhm.
um, connecting as Facebook friends with other people that, again, you wanna be in a room with. That's what you wanna think about. And you're not gonna be the only one utilizing your personal profile for business, especially now
Mhm.
professional mode is out. So
Mhm.
previously, it was something Facebook kind of shamed to use your personal profile for business, but
Yes.
they realized people are doing it anyways, so they decided to come on our side rather than fight against us, which was very smart for them, and that's why they've rolled out this professional mode because now we can see insights, so we can see analytics behind our posts on our
Mhm.
personal profile, which was never a thing before. And so I highly recommend having that personal profile. If you're right now growing your business organically on Facebook and you're operating from a business page, you're missing out on a lot of organic reach and opportunity.
Mhm. That is really good. Really good. I think that Facebook traumatized me, Emily Bob, because I was in that group where when it was a clear distinction between your business page and your personal profile. You did not do business on your personal profile page. So I am still kind of coming out of that very slowly. So thanks for the extra nudge to, yeah, step that up a bit and take advantage of some of those, or take advantage of that now, very different way of doing things on Facebook when it comes to those 2 pages. Oh my goodness. Yeah, you just hit me with that one. So let's talk about some common mistakes. I would think that would be one of them, right? So, what are some common mistakes that maybe both new and established business owners make when it comes to organic marketing?
Well, I would say the first one is like in general, waiting to build an audience until
Mm.
you have everything sorted out. So, if you're building a group coaching program or a course or your one to one service, you're evaluating that and you're working on all this back end stuff, but you don't yet have an audience, or every day you're not actively growing your audience. What happens is you actually prolong the time it takes to get people into that. So, for example, you spend 2 months building out this course, and you're not simultaneously building an audience, then you have to spend a few months building your audience to get the visibility to then get the results you're after. Versus you can simultaneously, by just doing, small steps every day, grow your audience even if you don't yet have your program or service completely done or figured out. You should still be focusing on growing your audience. And then the biggest mistake I see with more established entrepreneurs, let's say six or multiple six figures that are
Mhm.
leveraging Facebook organic marketing, is they're on one or the other side of the pendulum. They're either focused completely on growth or completely on nurture. And
Mm,
so when you're
mm,
focused completely on growth, what happens is your group or whatever kind of funnel is full of cold leads, and you're not running dry on leads at all, but those leads aren't being warmed up enough that they're ready to buy. So the conversion isn't happening. Then the other side of things is people are solely focused on nurturing. So let's say they have an audience of 300 members and they're solely focused on nurturing, they're not bringing anybody new into the group. Then
mm,
they do a launch and now they're running dry on leads because they haven't brought anybody else in. So you want to be in the middle. You want to be doing activities that are growing your audience, but also nurturing your audience. So people are constantly coming through
mm.
this cycle where there's always somebody in a stage of cold, there's always somebody in a stage of warm, and there's always somebody in a stage of hot. This is how you're going to avoid the feast and the famine kind of
Mhm.
um, ordeal with business in general or live launching, which people
Mm.
experience.
That is really good advice. Oh my goodness. And staying in the middle of the growth side and the nurturing side, that comes down to the kind of content that you're sharing and how you're engaging within your group or on your page. Would you agree with that, or would you add something more to that, Emily Dawn?
Yeah, so I definitely think depending on the stage, always one is going to be slightly higher than the other,
Mhm,
but we should always be doing both. So, for example, I'm thinking about people that don't have, an audience right now. You should more heavily be focusing on the growth rather than the
mhm,
nurturing. But
mhm,
people that already have an audience should be more heavily focused on the nurturing, but still doing the growth. So it's about that balance. Like you said, the content is going to do different things. So
mhm,
what the way you would maybe connect with a cold lead is going to be different than the way you're going to connect or nurture a hot lead, somebody who's already ready. So you want to think about um, your content strategy, but also the way you're connecting.
mm,
Right? If you've already been on a call with somebody or you've already had a DM conversation, the way you're going to connect with them or the content or the resource you may send them is probably going to be different than somebody that's completely new to your world and doesn't know who you are. So you want to make sure that you're being mindful of who you're speaking to and not just throwing the same thing at everyone because not everybody's necessarily ready and in that stage.
Really, really good. And also, too, as you talk about stages, that's a matter of thinking about the buyer's journey that each person that you brought into your ecosystem is in. So that is another fantastic point right there. I'll also want to go back to when we talk about organic marketing, like we mentioned, there's some longevity here. We're for the long game. So let's talk about when or a time frame that people can expect to start seeing results. How long does it take? Everybody wants to know that.
I guess it depends on what results they're looking for
Mm,
because I feel like results are defined differently from other people. Like some results means they have followers, some means they have leads, some means they have clients. So it depends on what you're defining as results. And it also depends on a lot of factors, like such as, is your program or service or product already proven, right?
mhm,
So the people that we work with that already have sold their offers, they already have proven it, they're going to see results faster than somebody that maybe hasn't proven their offer yet because they're still in the testing or beta stage. So it depends on what stage and all these different
mhm,
factors. But in general, in terms of seeing traction, week one, I say.
mhm,
Week one, you should start to see traction when you're consistent. And traction means movement, right?
mhm,
It doesn't mean
mhm,
viral necessarily, but it means movement. So right now, if you're doing nothing and then you start to apply something, you're going to see traction as soon as you start applying. And then, like I said, it's like that momentum that builds. But in general, like marketing, I believe people say that it's 90 days actually that a consistent marketing strategy you then see the results from. And so a lot of people don't even get to that 90-day mark before switching.
Mm,
A
mm,
lot of people start to do something, let's say 20, 30 days, they're not seeing the results of their expectation, and
mhm,
then they switch. When in general, like when we're thinking about these big
mm.
corporations, it's around 90 days that they're consistently doing something before they're going to make adjustments.
Really?
So
Good.
a lot of people, I think, see the online space and they see how fast people see results and grow. And it gives a bit of maybe like false expectation or pressure
Mhm,
on
mhm,
ourselves, where
mhm.
we're like, they just posted that a week ago and they already have this. Why don't I have this? And so we don't want this to be a comparison game. You're
Yeah.
on your own journey, and know that these are building blocks. It's building blocks. So there's so many factors, but you should start to see traction soon as you start um, implementing a solid and proven strategy. Let me highlight that proven strategy.
Mhm.
Um, and then the results you're looking for is going to be dependent on what you define as results and like your previous experience.
That's, oh my gosh. Yes. I need another bell ring here. I need to get a bell, like seriously. All right. So as we are looking at organic marketing and things change rapidly. So what are some of the most recent changes that you've seen when it comes to organic marketing?
Oh my goodness. So much has changed. Specifically in these last 6 months or so, the organic space has really changed and consumer behavior has changed on social media. Like right now, as of the time of recording, we're at the beginning of 2023 here, and the world has been very different for these last
Mhm.
few years, and we're kind of breaking out of this state that we were all in. So people aren't spending as much time on social media.
Mm,
The economic state is um, altering the way people make decisions about where they're spending their money. People are still spending their money, but they're more conscious of where they're spending their money.
mm,
So the key is here to be that trusted source, to be
mm,
the person people think of when they're ready and wanting to invest. So in terms of the organic space, what we're seeing is in general in social media, the reach hasn't been as good. But
mm.
there's been this kind of word that has been thrown out there. It's kind of one of those, what do you call it, like buzzword right now, which is
Sure.
thought leadership.
Mm,
And although it's kind of a buzzword, the principle of it and embodying it is something that's going to last long term. It's not
mm,
just going
mm,
to be a trend. And the reason why is because people are wanting a layer deeper than what they've been getting. People are wanting real connection. And so what thought leadership is exactly what it sounds like. It's sharing your thoughts. And
mhm,
so the best way that you actually can get organic reach in terms of content marketing specifically is speaking what is true to you or your beliefs, and knowing that people are going to disagree and some people are going to agree, and it's going to get your organic reach out there because it's what's resonating with people and it's what's getting the most interactions, which is then increasing the visibility you have online. So in terms of organic marketing in 2023, you want to focus on getting connected, but deepening that connection by sharing more things that are deeper than the surface level in your one-to-one conversations, in your content. If you're doing email marketing, in your email marketing, um, because people, again, want to feel connected, and
mm,
they're also going to that trusted source. And when they align with your beliefs and the way you represent yourself and the way you do your thing, those are the people that are going to be investing, even when people aren't investing as much or as often as they were in these last few years.
That's really good. I feel that especially when it comes to our messaging, and that's essentially what's happening through organic marketing, through our email marketing, our content strategy, we have the messaging component. And the two pieces that I feel are so important to include are that empathy side as well as the authority. So the authority is lending to that thought leadership component, and empathy is helping to deepen that connection and letting people know that you understand and that you get them. So I love that you shared that. And as you mentioned too, like we're in a different place right now, and as business owners, as marketers, I think it's so important that we are including that thought leadership with that mix of empathy as well. So I love that you shared that. It's really, really good, really good. Anything else that you want to add to that, Emily Dawn?
Yeah, so everything you say I agree with, and I love that you highlighted the word empathy because that's huge, and that's a huge part of it, right? People
Mm,
in people feeling connected,
mm,
you need to have that part of you. And if you're a coach, usually that's a part of like the way you serve. I feel like a lot of
mm,
us coaches or people that are in some kind of service industry, such as coaching or consulting,
mhm,
we have empathy, and but
mhm,
it's about being vulnerable and um, allowing people to see that side and seeing
mhm,
that as a strength, not a weakness. So a lot of people
mhm,
are willing to talk about their struggles when they're outside of it, when they're beyond
mhm,
it, when they feel like they've overcome it. But what we're seeing is people are actually resonating most when it's in the moment, because
mm.
that's when it's the hardest to
It
share.
is. It really is. It really is.
Mhm.
So true. So true. And I think we all experience that and have experienced it. So when someone is sharing from that place of I'm in it right now, I think that really resonates with the person who's listening and leaning into that. So yeah, I agree with that. It is hard to do. Oh my goodness.
Yeah,
And for myself, I really like for that to happen in those one-to-one conversations. And I think that is something too that as business owners, as marketers, we can also choose when we want to share those hard times and when we're in it. So you can think about, just as we think about results, what do results mean to you? And when it comes to sharing, especially those vulnerable places, you get to choose if it's one to one, if it's, through your email list. That definitely seems a little cozy in that space. You're coming into someone's email inbox, which is a personal space.
yeah.
So I would say absolutely, hands down, agree. And you get to choose how and what that looks like for your business. But I agree with you, Emily. Dawn, that is like spot on.
Yes, and I love that you like to bring that up in one to one, and that just made me think that when I say like sharing these things,
Mhm.
don't share it out of the intent for it to
Mhm.
be a tactic. And I think that's a part of it. It's about your personal brand. It's about
Mhm.
being authentic. It's about showing up without an expectation of what that will lead to. And again, this is where those relationships and authentic connections are going to happen. It's when there's no expectation for a certain outcome from this post. You're not posting thinking, I'm going to say this so it gets this. It's simply, I am showing up and my people are going to resonate with this. And the people that aren't for me actually might be deterred from
Mhm.
me um, by posting this. And a lot of people see that as a bad thing, right? Turning
Mhm.
people away. But that's actually
No.
such a good thing because it allows more space for the right people to come in. Plus, you don't want those kind of people investing in you if they don't have those aligned and
Yeah.
shared vision. Um, you want to make sure those people are connected to you. So show up for the sake of showing up, serve for the sake of serving
Mm.
without
Mm.
the expectation of a certain reaction. Because we're also out of our control other people's reaction. So just think about how you can show up, how you can be you, how you can share value, how you can show up as an expert without saying you're an expert. That's what I always say.
Mm.
A real expert, a real authority figure doesn't need to call themselves that. They don't need to say I'm an expert. They speak their knowledge, and people can see through the way they talk and
Mm.
communicate that they are an expert, and they don't have to prove it to anyone.
So good. Oh gosh, my heart is just feeling all warmed up over here. Oh my gosh, I agree with you. Yeah, in every way. Yeah, every way. So good. So good. And people can feel that too, you know. I can feel it as we're having this conversation right now. And I hope you're feeling it too here on the YouTube channel, but people can feel that. And that's what people really want. And when they get to that time to make a decision whether or not they're going to choose your brand over another, all of these things, especially the way that you've connected with them and they can feel that connection in your intention, your serving, showing up for them and having good intentions, I believe that really helps them when they are in that decision mode. Even as we're going through tough times right now, you know, people are still needing the services that you provide. And when you're pouring into them and you're connecting, I think it plays a huge role in them saying yes to work with your brand or not. So, oh my gosh, this has been wonderful, Emily Dawn. I knew that it would be final. I'll say, I know I did just ask. This is like me trying to get off the phone. It's like, okay, I have one more thing I want to say, but do you have anything else that you want to add before I go into my little rapid fire round of questions where I let our viewers know, let everyone here on the channel know a little bit more about the woman behind the brand. So is there anything else that you want to add before we head into those questions?
I think I just want to say if you're new to business, if you're established, if you've been in it for years and years, decades, um, you're never like off where you're going. Like you're always on the
Mm,
right path.
mm,
I've been talking to a lot of people recently, and they feel like they're all in different stages, and they're like, I'm not sure of like my clarity of my vision. And it's like I can see it from an outward perspective that they're on the right path, but they're like, I just feel a bit off. And it's like they are building this momentum, and sometimes we get
mm,
scared of the momentum that's built. So I just want to say, like, wherever you're at, keep on going, because everything that you've been waiting for is like you're almost at the top of the peak. You've been in the valley, you've gone through it. So just keep on going and be um, resilient. Resilient is the word. Resilient
mm,
for what you're doing, and don't let go, especially as you hear about these things and as things change and you're worried maybe about the economic state or these things. Don't allow these external factors
mm,
to shift where your heart has been placed. So just
mm.
stay on track, stay on your vision, and think big picture rather than short term. And there's no failing in that when you just keep on going.
Oh my gosh. Oh, I love it. I love it. I love it. I love it. Thank you so much for sharing that. Thank you so much. All right. Are you ready for a few questions?
I guess we'll see.
All right. All right. All right. So tell us a fun fact about Emily Dawn.
Okay, I would say a fun fact is coming on July this year, it will be 5 years that I've been on and off solo traveling. So I first started my solo traveling when I went to Australia back in 2018. And then since I've been to Bali, which I lived in for around a year, I was in England for a bit. I went to Thailand and Vietnam last year. So
Oh my
I
goodness.
absolutely love traveling. And I feel very grateful to be able to travel with my laptop because that's all I need. I say I can work anywhere with Wi Fi.
I love it. I love it. And let's see, a favorite hobby.
Okay. I'm not sure I have hobbies. I'm thinking about this. For me, I would say just exploring
Mhm.
creativity in general. Um, that's often through my business, whether that's like, you know, playing around with graphic designs or building out new programs or
Mhm.
problem solving in some way. So my hobby, I would just say in general, is like learning new things or about
Mhm.
new places. So I love
Mhm.
like educating myself through documentaries or YouTube series. I'm much more into nonfiction than I am into fiction.
You're my girl. Oh my goodness. And let's see, speaking of which, favorite book to recommend? Do you have a book, let's say for someone who's new to business perhaps, or just anything that you like to recommend that could help someone out?
Yeah, more recently, I dove into the audiobook version of Alex Hormozzi's $100 Million Offers, it's called. It is amazing. He has a way of taking, business and
Mhm.
simplifying it and making it so easy to consume and understand.
Mhm.
And so easy to apply for even if you're starting out or even if like I've said, been in it for a long time, it's like such like 100% value, 0% fluff
Mhm.
kind of book. So I highly, highly recommend um, grabbing that book. And it basically lays out how to create an offer so good that people, I think he says like an offer so good, people feel stupid saying no. I think
Mm.
that's his phrase. But it's so true. He really lays that out. So I highly recommend that book.
All right, I'm adding that to my Audible list. I know I have 2 credits waiting, so I'm adding that to my list.
Perfect. I prefer audiobooks usually.
The same.
But sometimes I'm like the physical, I have to.
I love it. All right, last question for our solo adventurer here. What is the next destination that's on your list?
Well, I've been looking at Google Flights every day for the last 10 days. And I like switch my destination, switch the dates. So I'm still sorting that out, but likely I probably will head back to Indonesia. Because I do have community in Bali.
Mhm.
I feel, oh, I just like miss it so much. I miss my people so much there. So I do think I'll be heading out there soon. Probably the end of March is my game plan.
All right. Well, you'll have to keep me posted so I can let everyone know here where you're up to, where you're headed, and I'll be sending you good vibes. I know wherever you land, you're going to have an amazing time, and I feel too that wherever you go, you go to give as well as to receive. So, and having a community already in a location outside of where you live, I think is simply amazing. So I just want to say thank you so much, Emily Dawn, for coming on today and having this talk and sharing everything that you know, or a lot about what you know when it comes to organic marketing and specifically with Facebook. I would just want to say thank you again. And oh my gosh, it's like going back again to being on the phone. It's hard to hang up, it's hard to wrap up and say goodbye, but I will. I will say thank you once again for coming on. Thank you so much for sharing with us, not only professionally, but so much from your heart and connecting with us here. Thank you, thank you, thank you.
Well, thank you. And I'm so excited to be connecting with not just you, but your community as well. And I hope they were able to gain some value from our conversation. And I love your energy as always and the way I feel like we can connect.
Mm.
You have a special way with your words for sure.
Oh gosh, thank you. Thank you so much. Wow, that was so much fun. I hope that you enjoyed our guest today, Emily Dawn. I'm going to leave all of her contact information down below in the description for you. And if you haven't already, give this video a thumbs up, subscribe to the channel, and I'll see you in the next video. Thank you so much for watching. Bye.